by a lion tonight?
Yeah.
No. And you know what? Neither do I, neither does Jessica. Plus, I don't think we could really lift a 400-pound lion by ourselves, and they're not going to fit in any of these, right? So people usually understand that we didn't bring the 400-pound lion. Our largest animal on zoo grounds is our male grizzly bear. He's like 700 pounds. Didn't bring him either, okay? But sometimes people ask us, okay, I get you didn't bring a lion that can eat us, but did you bring any baby animals? Well, right now we don't have any baby animals really at the zoo, like lions or tigers or anything. But one of the things we like to bring out is this item. So this is called a boomer ball, okay? And it is a ball that is made for zoo animals to play with. It's a toy for zoo animals, okay? And the company who makes these tell us that these balls are basically indestructible, okay? They're really, really solid. The animals won't be able to hurt them or break them or anything like that. What do you think? Right? So we've got this big old hole in here, okay? And this is hard. Like, I can't do anything to it, okay? So this ball here, full of scratch marks, holes from teeth. This ball was not given to a 700-pound grizzly bear. One swipe and it'd be broken in pieces, okay? This ball was actually given to 3-month-old jaguar cubs, okay? Now, jaguars have a super strong jaw and they were able to do this even as cubs. So even if I were to bring a cub here into your school, what would all of our heads look like at the end of this program? That, right? That is not something we want to go for. So we don't travel with our baby animals. Plus, who makes a better mom for those baby animals? Their real mom or a zookeeper? What do you think? Their real mom, yeah. Yeah, you can never replace the real mom. So we tend to leave our baby animals with their moms for as long as possible. We don't travel with them. Instead, we travel with much safer, smaller, but still really cool education animals. Okay?
Snakes?
We have all kinds of animals, and I'm not going to tell you what we brought tonight until you get to see it. All right? So, our animals are specially trained to do programs like this, which means they stay calm and collected, and they're usually pretty well behaved. Now, I've jinxed myself, and they're not going to be. So, tonight, we are going to talk about a very special group of animals, and those are all animals from the rainforest. So, can you guys start off by telling me what you know about the rainforest? It rains. It rains. Excellent. What else? It's wet. What else do you know?
It's a forest.
It's a forest. All right, it's right there in the name, rainforest.
It's tall.
Very tall, has lots of animals.
Lots of plants.
Lots of plants.
Maybe.
What else?
There's a lot of reptiles and amphibians.
A lot of reptiles and amphibians because it's so wet and warm. Anything else? Anything bad happening in the rainforest?
Forest fires.
Lots of fires.
Getting cut down.
Getting cut down.
How?
What?
I don't understand. How does a rainforest catch on fire?
It's a great question. Probably has a lot to do with climate change, to be honest.
So the dry ones be getting burned.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's problems, right, facing the rainforest. But we live in Ohio. Does it matter to us?
Yes.
Yeah. No?
Well, them things producing oxygen. What do you mean? We need that.
Okay. The rainforest actually makes a lot of the air that we breathe. Everybody take a nice big deep breath from it.
Save it.
Right?
You're gonna
That
need
feels good, right? So having oxygen to breathe is very important. So it does kind of make a difference to us. All right. So is there anything else that would make a difference to us up here in Ohio from the rainforest? What do you guys think? Is there anything else we get from the rainforest? Yeah?
Rain.
Well, it rains down there, yeah, and some of the weather patterns might transfer up here a little bit, but not so much that. Oxygen's a big one. I've got a whole bin here next to me of things that we actually can get from the rainforest. Do you guys think you can figure out what's in my bin?
A snake.
There's no live animals in this one.
No.
All right.
A dead snake.
What else do you think might be in here? Any guesses?
A skeleton.
A skeleton? No skeletons.
Water.
No water.
You sure?
A plant.
No plants. Well,
Got some wood in there?
so how many of you guys like to eat fruit?
Oh, me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fake.
So a lot of fruits that we eat actually come from the rainforest. Bananas, pineapples, things like that.
Oh
Okay?
my.
Fruit's one thing. What else do you guys think might come from the rainforest? That we use here all the time.
Tarantulas.
I got all kinds of cool stuff in here. Come on. You guys can be creative.
Paper.
Paper, yeah, we've got,
Paper's made of.
it's laminated so it doesn't get ripped or anything, but paper, a lot of paper comes from the rainforest. What else? There's all kinds of good smells coming out of this box too. Anything else you guys can think of?
A tire.
What?
A tire.
Did you see me lift it up? What part of the tire do you think comes from the rainforest? Very good, yeah. So if it wasn't for the rainforest, we wouldn't have rubber. So you guys look at the soles of your shoes. What are they made out of?
Rubber.
Rubber. Is that a big deal? Do we need a lot of rubber in the world? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tires, soles of our shoes, tires on our vehicles, tires on our bicycles,
Rubber bands.
all that, rubber bands. All right, so that comes from the rainforest. What else? There's some other foods that I think are pretty important, to be honest.
Cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe would be one of the fruits that might. We can grow cantaloupe here, but what else? I don't eat a lot of meat from the rainforest, but there is something in here I eat a lot of from the rainforest.
Berries.
It's a really nice treat. It's like a nice snack.
Strawberries.
Huh?
Strawberries.
Well, berries can come from the rainforest.
Starfruit?
Starfruit could be from the rainforest.
I'm
I'm thinking of something more desserty that I bet you guys all like to eat as a snack too. There you go. Chocolate. Chocolate actually comes from the rainforest. That's pretty important, right? How many of you guys here eat chocolate on a regular basis?
Oh.
Yep. The beans that make the chocolate come from the rainforest. There's another kind of bean here that I bet some of you guys also use. In the morning maybe. Yeah. So coffee
Yummy.
actually comes from the rainforest. The beans from coffee come from there. All right. Anything else? Ooh, here's something else I bet you guys use. I know I used to do this, I'll admit, in school a lot because we were allowed to. It would give me something to do with my mouth while I was sitting in class.
Gum.
The part that makes gum chewy comes from the rainforest. Okay?
I thought that comes from a pig.
No, well, there might be. No, the part that makes gum chewy comes from the rainforest. Probably similar to.
Probably a pig from the rainforest.
All right. What if you are not feeling super well? How many of you guys know that a lot of the prescriptions that we take and medicines we take came from the rainforest?
I do.
Yeah.
A
They
lot
can
of
come from
plants.
the plants, chemicals in the plants, believe it or not, or it can actually come from chemicals that animals make. There are some venoms and things that they use as medicine. So that actually comes a lot from the rainforest. And the weird thing about the rainforest is that it's so full of plants and animals that we don't even know what all lives there. So we don't even know what other medicines we could find in the rainforest. Okay? So is that quite a bit that comes from the rainforest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's actually important even though we live all the way here in Ohio and far, far away from the rainforest?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually important. So it's kind of sad that it's disappearing, right? So what kinds of things do you all think that we could do to help save the rainforest? What could you do?
Stop polluting.
Okay, stop polluting. Maybe carpool, maybe ride bikes, maybe walk to where you're going if it's not that far.
Pick up the trash on the side of the road and stuff.
Pick up pollution, pick up litter, I guess. What else could you guys do?
Recycle.
Recycle's a big thing. If you recycle paper, do we need to keep cutting down trees?
No.
No? One of the biggest things, how many of you guys drink pop or things like that out of a can? Yeah? I actually like the taste of pop out of a can better than a bottle, personally. And I drink my pop out of cans if I have the choice. So, cans. Did you guys know that one of the chemicals that's used to make aluminum cans comes underneath the ground in the rainforest?
Yeah.
Yeah? So they actually have to cut down the trees and dig up the ground to make aluminum cans. But the really cool fact from that is if you recycle aluminum cans, it is 100% recyclable. You don't have to keep digging up the ground if you recycle your aluminum cans. Is that something easy that you can do? Yeah. You guys can recycle your aluminum cans and then that will save the trees in the rainforest. That's something super easy I always recommend people do if they can. The zoo actually does a really good program if you want to drive up and visit us. We have a really cool program where we collect cans in our parking lot and we recycle them. And you guys know, you're old enough to know that if you recycle metals, a lot of times you get paid for it, right? Did you guys know that? Yeah, you can take to metal recycling. So we'll actually take those cans to a metal place and recycle them, and then we send the money down to South America and they plant trees in the rainforest. Is that kind of a cool program? We have been doing that for, oh my gosh, since 2015, and we have planted over 11,000 trees at this point. down in the rainforest just by recycling cans. Is that really cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something, if you guys want to, make trips up to the zoo and drop your cans off, you can help us to plant new trees in the rainforest too. So something very, very easy you can do, but at least recycle them if you have them. That's a huge thing that you can do to help. All right, would you guys like to meet a couple of the animals that we brought with us? Yeah, I figured. You're tired of listening to me talk. So I'm gonna turn it over to Jessica, and I'm gonna let her get out our first animal.
All right, so before I get this animal out, I just ask that you stay where you're at, and don't get super loud and super crazy. And I'll introduce you to one of my friends.
Yep, snake. Knew it. Knew it.
It's so pretty. I love snakes.
This is Jose. Can you say hi to Jose?
He's so beautiful.
Try to turn him and face you. Jose is what we call a rainbow boa. Taking a look at Jose, can anybody tell? Prisms, like on his scales, that reflect light in a rainbow sort of way. And as I mentioned, it's a lot more visible even in sunlight. And does anybody know what snakes do about once a month?
Shed.
Yeah, they shed. So Jose's rainbow quality is really, really, really apparent after he has had a shed. Okay. So this is Jose. He is 5 years old. He is male, and he is known as a boa. Does anybody know what that means? You have a snake that is a boa, because this is a rainbow boa.
Bob instructor.
What does that mean, though?
It wraps around its prey.
Exactly. It wraps around its prey, and it kills its prey with constriction, right? So that is something Jose would do in a natural habitat and also in his habitat at the zoo. That's how he is able to kill his prey, right? That's his natural instinct, is to constrict, so to wrap around. And he has the ability to feel all along his body. He has the ability to do that. And so he can feel the heartbeat of his prey, and he will constrict until that prey its heart stops beating. And then guess what he does?
Eats them.
You think he eats them? Yep, he eats him whole. So he will eat his prey completely whole. And it takes quite a few days for Jose to break that down. I've lost his head, Carrie.
You're all right. Got it?
Yep, thank you. It can take him a couple days to break down that prey. So a lot of times, they're not very active after they eat because they eat such a big meal and they don't chew it and it sits in their body. Does anybody know how often snakes need to eat? What are you doing? Does anybody know?
Once or twice a week.
Not once or twice a week, but that's a good guess.
A month throughout, like once or twice a month.
Like once a month usually. And actually, Jose, guess what? He didn't eat last month, but he did eat just this week. But he didn't eat last month. That's pretty natural for them to skip a feed every now and then. And he did skip his feed last month, but he ate this week. So he is from, as we mentioned, as Miss Carrie was talking about, he is from the Amazon. And rainbow boas, can anybody tell looking at him where he might like to spend his time? In trees. He also can be down on the ground as well. He's not just up in the trees, but obviously he's really good at it. He has what's called a prehensile tail. Okay, and there's lots of animals and reptiles that have those. We have one of my favorite animals at the zoo is a porcupine with a prehensile tail. And so that prehensile tail means that they are able to, you are really interested in my hair today. They are able to hold on like this. So I'm almost, his tree, right? He also likes to spend time near water. He's not a very fast snake, but he is a very good swimmer. And so can anybody think about why he might want to hang out near water? He is a good swimmer, but he's not very fast. So why would he want to hang out near water?
So he don't dehydrate.
He does need water, But why else? Something besides that. Out by water, that all of these animals in the rainforest that he can eat, that they are going to come and drink water. So he hangs out there because he's not very fast, but he is a good swimmer and he can attack his prey when they come for drinks of water. Good. Anybody want to guess what he eats?
Mice.
Mice? Yep. What else? Rodents? Mhm. And you're taking a look at him. What do you think you could maybe mistaken him for? What's his camouflage? Tree bark, yep. What about, sex can have it, where they almost look like a big pair of eyes to scare off prey. But Jose and rainbow boas are pretty close to the top of the food chain, so there's not a lot that prey on them. When they're younger, it's a little bit different of a story because they do give live birth. Not all snakes do, but he does, or his kind does, so they actually give live birth. And so they can be easily preyed upon, but as far as once they're an adult, there's not many things that prey upon them where they are from. Do you guys have any questions about Jose? Mm-hmm.
How long is he?
They are between 5 to 7 feet. I'm not exactly sure how long he is. I've not measured him, but I know that the keepers have. But they are typically between 5 to 7 feet. Any other questions?
Do you all know why he's sticking his tongue in and out?
Yeah.
So she doesn't mess up the carpet. But when I bring her out, I need you guys just to do 2 things for me, follow 2 rules. I need you to be nice and quiet, just like you're doing with Jose, and just make sure your bottom stays in your seat. You guys think you can do that for me?
Yeah.
All right. You ready? Thank you. So this is Chi-Chi. You guys can all say hi to Chi-Chi. And Chi-Chi is an Amazon parrot, so she comes from the Amazon rainforest, the rainforest that we're talking about.
Does she talk?
I will answer questions at the end about her, okay? So, one of the most noticeable things about her are her gorgeous green feathers, right? So, her feathers help her to do 3 things to survive in the rainforest. What do you think they help her to do?
Blend in.
Blend in, camouflage. What else?
Scare predators away.
Not scare predators away, because she's hiding. She wants to hide. She doesn't want to be seen.
Like fly.
Fly. Yeah, she's a bird, so her feathers help her to fly. Something else her feathers help her with. Think about the weather in the rainforest.
Keep her warm.
Now, warm.
Dry.
Yes. Yep, dry, reflect water. Chi-Chi's waterproof. So it's like she's wearing a raincoat. So when it rains, the water comes right down on her, it beads up and rolls right down off of her tail. Just like if you've ever seen the commercials of the waxed cars where they spray them and the water just runs right off them.
Can you pour water on
I don't have any water. No, I'm not going to pour water on her. You shake your feathers? All right. She does like to take baths at the zoo, but we do like a misting bath for her. But yeah, the water actually just kind of runs right off of her and keeps her dry. Because do you think it's very easy to fly around the rainforest with soggy feathers?
No.
No, that would be awkward, right? So instead she is waterproof. So they help her a lot. Now another really cool thing about Chi-Chi, if you look at her right here, see that big beak? What do you think she eats with that big beak?
Things with bones. Fruits.
Things with bones? No, they would upset her stomach. What?
Fruits.
Fruits? She loves fruits. As a matter of fact, Chi-Chi's favorite food is grapes. What else do you think she likes?
She likes to eat. Birds like her can eat. They have such strong beaks that they can crack open nuts.
You're right, yeah. So her beak is built to eat fruits, but also nuts. Now, do you think nuts at the grocery store in the jars are same as the nuts that grow in trees in the rainforest? No. What are the ones in the grocery store missing for our benefit?
Shells.
The shells, yep. How many of you guys have ever tried to crack open, say, a almond or a walnut shell, something like that? Yeah? Are they hard or easy? Hard. Do you need a tool, maybe, to get into them? Yeah, like a nutcracker or a hammer, if you don't have a nutcracker. Well, do you see any pockets that would allow her to carry around a nutcracker or a hammer through the rainforest? No. So what do you think she uses to crack open that beak, or crack open those nuts? Her beak. Yeah, so she's got a big, strong beak. The largest parrots in the world can actually bite through steel, to give you an idea of how strong their beaks are. Now, that's considerably larger than Chi-Chi, but they do have very, very strong beaks that they can use to bite through those nutshells. I have seen Chi-Chi crack through almonds. I've seen her crack through walnuts. So she is able to crack all of those. So she's got really, really strong beak. And then if you notice, she's got a point on the end of the beak. You're supposed to be showing your beak, not chewing on me. If you see she's got a big point on the end of her beak, that allows her to actually pick the nuts out of the shell. Now, as you guys just saw, she also can be just as delicate with her beak as she wants to. Am I bleeding?
No.
Nope. Nope. So, nothing, she didn't do any damage when she was just playing with my finger. That's just something she likes to do. Now, another cool thing about her are her eyes. Are they on the front or the sides of her face? Sides. Why would she have eyes on the side of her head? What do you think?
Predators.
To look out for predators. There's a nice little rhyme we like to teach. Eyes on the side likes to hide. Eyes on the front likes to hunt. So do you think she's a hunter or a hider?
Hider.
She's a hider because she is a prey animal. She does not eat other animals, but she wants to be on the lookout for things that might eat her, like a jaguar or a hawk or a snake or even a monkey, believe it or not. A lot of monkeys do eat meat. So the only place Chi-Chi can't see by having her eyes on the side like that is right here smack dab in the middle of the back of her head. So she is able to see almost all the way around her body to watch out for predators. Now another really cool thing about Chi-Chi is she is super smart, okay? She is about as smart as a 3 to 5 year old child, okay? You guys know any 3 to 5 year olds? She's 2, yeah? How many of you guys have younger brothers or sisters or cousins that are 3 to 5? Yeah? What are they like? Because Chi-Chi has this personality that goes with her intelligence.
Annoying.
Okay, they can be super annoying. I love her, but she can be super annoying, okay? What else? How else would you describe a 3 to 5 year old? What do you think? What? Hyper. Chi-Chi can get pretty hyper, get really active and make a lot of noise and try to get attention. Yep, what else? How else would you describe them?
They can get distracted very easily.
They can get very destructive. Now, are most 3 to 5 year olds running around with beaks though? No. So I have seen Chi-Chi tear wood apart with that beak. So she can tear things apart with that beak. So that makes her a little more dangerous, usually, than that normal 3 to 5 year old child. Now, you guys all want to wave at Chi-Chi. Hi. 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 And you guys can see she's waving back at you too, not only talking. So as you see too, she is using her left foot. Chi-Chi is left-footed. Most parrots actually prefer their left foot over their right foot. They're kind of the opposite of people, who most of us are right-handed versus left-handed. But she does know how to speak because she has never been around other parrots, really. She's mostly spent her life around people, and she knows that's how she gets attention, is by talking. Now, some parrots do know what the words mean. Chi-Chi really doesn't, okay? But she says hi, hello, hi, buddy, how are you, bye-bye. She sings, la 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 la. She laughs, ha 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 ha. She whistles, she clicks. When she's trying to tell me that something I'm eating looks good, she makes the sound of her food rolling around in her dish. So she gets fed at the zoo with a metal dish, and her food makes noise in it, and she copies that sound when she's trying to tell us she wants something to eat. So she makes that sound at me sometimes if I'm eating something she thinks looks good. Now, a lot of times when people see Chi-Chi doing all that, they think, oh my God, I want one of these as a pet. Do you think she'd make a very good pet? No. Why not? Why don't you think she would make a great pet?
Because she would probably rip my lamp to pieces.
Okay, so let me tell you Chi-Chi's backstory, okay? So she was not originally living at the zoo. She was actually bred and was somebody's pet for a while, okay? It was a married couple. They were older. It was a husband and wife, and she bonded to the wife. Parrots like this are what we call monogamous, meaning they find a mate and they mate for life, okay? So she found her person. It was the wife in this pair. She hated the husband, hated him. He couldn't come anywhere near her. Well, unfortunately, the wife got sick and passed away. And the husband was left with an animal in his house that hated his guts, that can tear apart wood. Does that sound like a much fun for a pet?
No.
So luckily he was able to turn her over to a rescue, and we adopted her from there. And she has bonded with a few of our staff. So we're able to take her out on programs, and she's been an excellent program animal. So we got lucky, but not all parrots, and she got lucky, not all parrots have such a happy ending when they do Starhouse Pets. Another part we like to point out is that she's a 3 to 5 year old mentally, and she'll live 40 to 60 years. How many of you guys want a 3-year-old for 40 to 60 years? Rampaging through your house. So that is something else to think about too. So they make very, very difficult pets to keep, and we actually don't recommend them be kept as pets. She is also an endangered species. Parrots are the most endangered bird in the world as a whole. So they are endangered a lot due to habitat destruction, a lot due to things like climate change, but mostly due to, unfortunately, the wildlife trade, pet trade. So some people will go into the rainforest and they'll actually pull parrots out of the rainforest and bring them into the United States to sell as pets. Do you ever want an animal that's been chased to not go back in the kennel? But I brought her favorite food so that she will hopefully cooperate, and she did, yay! I have done programs where she sits up here on the for the program while we talk about other animals, but she's gonna behave herself tonight, so. All right, I'll turn it back over to Jessica. We have one more really cool animal you guys are gonna wanna see.
All right, so the last one we're going to introduce you to, her name is Daisy. Let me find her. Daisy is sleeping. Everybody say hi, Daisy.
Hi, Daisy.
Does anybody know what Daisy is? Armadillo. She's actually a 3-banded armadillo, because there are multiple types of armadillos. She's a 3-banded armadillo named because of those 3 bands on her back. So she is full grown. She is not a baby. I think a lot of times we're used to seeing the 9-banded armadillos. I always tell this story. I have family that lives down in Texas, and they get 9-banded armadillos in their backyard that their dogs are terrified of. And they're much bigger because they have 9 bands. So this is our 3-banded armadillo, and her name, as I said, is Daisy. So lots of cool things to talk about with Daisy. One, I'm going to talk about this head plate of hers, and then in particular, how that head plate fits in with the tail. So I'm going to come around and have you take her eyes are very small. She can't see very well, but she can smell very, very, very well. She has sort of a long snout. And so she's able to sniff out the mealworms. And as enrichment for her, we will often take her out of her habitat, put her in some sort of play area, and sprinkle in a few worms, and she's always able to remarkably find them all. It's like shocking to me that she's able to do that, but she can, because I can't smell them at all. But she's able to find them, and they're really, really small. And I will count how many I put in, and I count how many she finds. And I put them on top of things and inside of things, and she's able to find them all. So she has a great sense of smell. Daisy is a mammal, so she actually does have hair, because that's one of the traits of mammals. I don't know if you guys can see. Thank you.
Oh my God, it's coming.
Yep, so don't, watch your feet. Don't move.
Try to find somewhere to run high.
She's very fast.
Behind you guys.
She's really fast.
She doesn't run like a rodent either.
You see her?
No, she's a mammal.
Yeah.
She's flying. She and I those gonna race.
It's like a shell with.
It doesn't, it almost looks like she's on wheels.
Yeah.
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 That's when I started running.
There she goes.
Oh God, she's lunch. That is so fast. She's so cute.
I don't want to run under those tables right there.
That's crazy.
She's very cute. Her hair
Don't move, they can't see
Right?
the head.
It feels,
So cool
it's
looking.
pretty coarse. Yeah.
It almost reminds me of like horsehair.
Yes, it is very coarse like that. Yeah.
Oh no, she's now popcorn. Look, she's going. Daddy, I'm behind you.
He's a rainbow boa.
Why are you
She's right behind you, so just, I'll try to get her. There you go.
Find my stuff.
Leave that closed, thank you, because she
We don't want her out.
Leprosy, but they only, you only get that if you eat undercooked armadillo. So, you should be good.
Yeah. I had heard that too, that they're one of the only creatures that actually can pass that season.
Yes, yep.
Got her.
And she's never lived in the wild. She was born at the Cincinnati Zoo. So she is leprosy free also.